And I think we're live. Somehow we've got to BHH episode 83. Wow! Take it away, hon. Very Christmassy. Oh my goodness there. Wow, there's so many people waiting online. Fantastic. Northwest there, TOG Derry first. I had Tog. I hope you can hear me. I'm on the sound test. Elliot Flynn. Hello, Marshall. Good evening. Llewellyn, Gary Taylor. Lots of Wilson and Blackett tonight. Red wine and waiting. Oh, where's my glass? I got a cup of tea, which hopefully you can see. Live number 79. Uh-oh. Sorry, we messed up the graphics. That's my fault. Sorry about that. 83 it is. Very good, Arnie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, the camera's got a little bit weird. What's happened? Has anyone spotted yet? I think everyone has. Philharmonic Broadstock Orchestra. Thank you. Yes, I love the Philharmonic. Possibly my favourite pub in Cardiff. And I've been thrown out there for singing as well. So hiya Mike, hiya Brad. Everything's a little bit different this week. Tara, Graham, hello, excellent. Wow, everyone's on tonight. This is amazing. What a great turnout. Right, we've got a few things to run through. I must warn you. Am I tripping? Yeah, no, it's a bit weird. I'll show you what it really looks like is this. No? What's that? I think you guys use this green screen. You're both teleported to another planet. Yes, we are another planet. Well worked out. So I'm just... The lag's about like a minute. I just pressed the button here. There we go. Sadly, I am in front of a green screen. Which I'm going to have to do something about. I'm going to... doesn't look very good anyway. Hang on a second. Let's just ungreen screen that. Uh-oh, come on, let me do the unscreen screen. God, man, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know how to do it, and I'm trying to do it sort of live, as it were. There we go. There's me. Alright, so I'm sorry, it's going to be a boring plain background, or we can have a little bit of fun, and I can put some different things in the background when my hair goes all fuzzy and things. Because we've actually moved. We've changed house. We're now living in my parents' old house. At least for now. We shoved all the stuff over. Everything's gone a bit, not quite to plan today, to put it mildly. So, 12 next now to the lag. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. So now, yeah, it's going to be a plain background, or I can have a little bit of fun, and I can put a pretend background on, which I think we'll do for now. As you see, plain green. I thought it'd be a great idea to paint the wall of the new place. It was like a new office. With a green background, so we can have a lot more fun. But it's not quite as easy as I thought to do the green screen. Well, you can do it, like you see, but then you get, like, fuzzy ears and things. Oh, no. There we go. So I thought I'd do that, and so many people realised before it actually moved. I took a photograph of the old backdrop. I think I'll leave it like that for a bit. I've got a bit of a see-through head, but you can't just look at it. We can't look at a plain green background, can we? So there we are. Looking out for the comments on that one. I thought it'd be funny. Right, so tonight, greetings from Zod. Hello, Zoe Spencer. Monica, Abend, all the way from Deutschland. Don't disappear on us. Yeah, I'll try to disappear. Don't worry. Right, soon we'll all be able to do that through remote viewing. Right, okay. Now, tonight, it's a little bit haphazard because I was going to prepare more today. But we have got some cool stuff. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth. I'm wondering, actually, if Dane is online. Dane's, I haven't seen his name come up on the chat yet, but he's a new... we've been exchanging comments on the Facebook and that kind of thing. And he is very keen on Scottish history, so we do a bit more of that, and the Picts. And he wanted to know a little bit more about why we claim in this old British history, why that's the most ancient and why people trace it back to. So I thought I will go at that. I've got all of it together, but quite a lot. So we'll be looking mostly at Cambrian's Triumphant, which is this fantastic big old book. And this has caused me a big delay. How can you not find a book that big? Well, when you move house, anything can happen. I'm a little bit in shock. If I look a bit tired, it's because my books are all like a scrambled jigsaw at the moment, and I'm still putting all the pieces back together again. And it's a little bit stressful because I used to have my library right behind me and I can just leaf over. As it looks on the screen, I have. There's lots of books in other rooms all over the place. And I've got bigger shelves, but I'm not in front of them. So all this might look different next week. I think I might go back in front of the books. I'm not sure about the green screen. Look forward to what you think. Anyway, hopefully this is going to pop up. Arnie can't find the headphones. So I don't know how we're going to do that. We're going to monitor the chat.
Yeah, I've got these.
Oh, you have got some headphones in. All right, okay. You haven't got the big ones. I'm waiting. Oh, God, this lags forever. There you go. There's a caption contest for this week. I'll think of a suitable prize, or we'll just do it for fun.
Oh, it's behind.
I just like... oh, that's quite cool now. You can see... Hang on. What are you doing, Aunt?
Oh, it's behind for some reason.
Oh, you're behind?
When I tried to...
All right, okay, don't worry. Anyway, so you can see the caption contest. It's quite cool now because you can see the trees around my head. So as long as I keep myself quite small, it's not too bad, is it? There we are. We'll try that for a bit. So there you go. What do you... if you know, there's a scene for me and Lawrence doing the dowsing together. And if you watch those videos, and most people have, I think, they're good fun. Please watch this one because it is quite remarkable. And I'm, Mr. Scientific, got my... physics and all that, and that's my main hobby apart from history and maths and stats and all this kind of thing. And then suddenly you're walking around a field asking where the layers and the little rods suddenly do that exactly where they should, and then they uncross again. And what was even weirder, you see it on one of the videos, was because I was holding the camera, so I'm holding the camera in one hand and the stick on the other, the rod. Got to get the jargon right, and then it would suddenly point along the energy line. I mean, not just cross, but actually point. When I had two, they lined up all on the line, and I can't explain it. There's been loads of comments during the week. All the sort of things I've tried to think of is energy, or there's this, or there's that. But what's weird is I've been trying it with different questions, and they all seem to work. So. Anyway, there we go. And the reason, by the way, I've done this as a caption contest is because when Angie saw this picture, straight like that, she came up with an absolute hilarious comment. And I said, it's so funny, I'm going to put it out to see what everyone else comes up with. So I have to make a note to make sure I come back to that at the end, or a bit further down the show. And I'm going to make some notes today. That's breaking all my rules about trying to remember and use your brain and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so we'll see if you can beat what Angie came up with. If you do, I'm looking forward to it. Right, okay.
Well, so far we've got Santa in the wrong trousers.
Santa in the wrong trousers, yeah, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. It's a good picture for a contest, isn't it? I hope you like that. Right, okay, so I'm going to dive straight in. And I also want to shave, can't find the shaving kit. I always like a shave, it sort of wakens me up. I don't know if you know this theory. I think this is... why Saxons are always so grumpy with their beards. Because when you shave, you release these positive endorphins. Make you feel happy. Make you glow a bit. So, there we go. I'm sure beards... Oh, yeah, got to tell you the big news. From Live 79, we got a... as you can see on there, this is the copy from the screen. Important notifications. Video received a copyright claim. I was so honoured. Because this was my singing of A Good Heart, well, all of us actually, wasn't it? We sang as a group. A Good Heart is Hard to Find. Actually got a copyright strike. That's my first ever. I've sung loads of songs that are copyrighted. And normally, YouTube AI cannot tell what I'm singing, or it's not near enough anyway. I think it's because everyone else is in tune. Oh, here we go again. See, that's probably what it is. Hang on, let's put that so I can see the comments a bit. Didn't expect to see anyone I know on here. Oh, you do. I know someone. Excellent. That Ross will detect with his dowsing. I've gone, of course, I've gone all white now. Yeah, I'm going to be complete floating in the background now. This is weird.
I think on a lot of group teams because we was having the bottom corner.
Yeah, I could go in the bottom corner. Bottom corner or top. Well, I was good in that top corner. Like, oh, I have to make a new one.
Looks like you just
Floating weird guy. Well, I am a floating weird guy. Right, there we go. Anyway, another thing, just to mention... we were talking, was it last show or a show during the week? This day's been a blur, what with moving and everything else, alright? So, we went to Russell Spencer down, who was doing the stuff back in the day with Alan Wilson. And fantastic, did loads and loads and loads of stuff. He had his special influence, I think, Mayor of Lantwit. And what a boost it's going to be and all that enthusiasm. I would also mention the stone there, and I was making sure I got the right Samson and bang on cue. So thanks again to Mandy McCourt, who's in contact with Russell. So dear Russell and Jane, this is from Alan Wilson, all right? Now, we're not sure what year. Not that many years ago, was it? About 10 years ago we were talking about? So, dear Russell and Jane, we're far more pleased at your efforts and newspaper article, which is, I think, the articles I showed last week. Do you remember Arthur's Atlantic Boy and all that kind of stuff? To us, it's truly amazing. After all, it's only taken 34 years. The Atlantic major town can be the hub of a major tourist trade. No doubt about that at all. The Great Palace of Glamorgan King's incredible sight, fantastic. Yeah, well, it should be, shouldn't it? 3 ancient stones naming Arthur II, his son Arthail. I think that's Ithael, sorry, I was going to say. I should know that because I'm writing a book called Ithael. His first son, cousin Ithdid, and his nephew, St. Samson of Dol, and descendants, King Griffith and King Rhys. Then you've got great access, great location. And down the bottom then, close to a major treasure site we have never disclosed. Not yet, if ever, to hell with the Labour Party, and there's everything going for it. We are told by the Americans our books are in the post, and we do state the facts of the palace in this one. The need for employment, yes, it's great for the area, and it's just crazy, isn't it? I do not really do not understand why more of this doesn't happen. I'm just going to jump in a second. I don't know if the magic buttons are going to work. Because
What books you need?
it was Heritage in Wales, it's right there. It was there, it's good to go. Oh no, it's slipped down here, it's okay. Because, one of the videos I did in a week, a little bit, oh hang on, the backdrop's gone now. Oh, I know, hang on. Oh man, am I rubbish at this or what? Hang on a second. Sorry everybody. I'm going to try again and do the... There you go. Yes, one of the things I was talking about was a little bit controversial. I try and avoid politics usually. But this one's it really got my goat because the new Heritage in Wales from Cadw came out, and it got me thinking then about looking at you're looking out for Caption Contest, checking the map, checking it twice. Very good. Yeah, well, just yeah. Perhaps you need to scribble them down or something. Yes, checking the map, checking it twice. Very good. Yes, like that. Amelia. Yeah, a little bit of a Santa reference there. 2 Santa references. Well, it is Christmas. And we were both wearing red, so why not? Oh, the other way to get rid of my frizzy hair is put my hood up. But, you can't wear a hat indoors. So there's the last issue. I'm not going to go through it the same as this present one. And what's very disturbing is... Oh, hang on a sec. This is a year ago, because it says make a date with the 2021 calendar. So this has been going on for quite a while. What's disturbing about it is this seems to be used as a political tool rather than something promoting Welsh history, which is quite frustrating. It seems the same thing again. A year ago, the big articles are sort of talking about Edwardian castles, that's King Edward, sorry, not as in 1930s. It's all about, you notice again, it's all about the Norman stuff, and then we've got another big thing, trying to make Welsh people feel guilty about slavery. It's just, there's the Yarmouths again, which castles, William Marshall, which is an English story really. It's just like the absence of stories about, actual Welsh history. Oh, it's weird, the green stuff disappears, look. A see-through book, that's quite cool. So I don't know, this could be beautiful. I mean, the production values are great, it's really glossy, it's nice thick paper. There's loads of photography. It's obviously got a really decent budget, and it's quite heartbreaking to think what could have been done with this. And hang on, quick mention here. I missed this last time. Sorry, we were just talking about Llantuit. The collection of almost 30 inscribed stones and crosses at Margam Stones Museum. I should read that. Anyway, so there's that. That's a good one. Hopefully it's a good one. Anyway, what I've found a bit disappointing is it looks like being a good story, and you want to read it, and then you read into it and you find there's some... just take the gloss off it. Right, anyway, I'm divulging, so I want to get on to what we're going to talk about tonight. Because one of the things we want to get into is the Kings and Queens and Wilson and Blackett stuff. Loving the green screen. Oh, thank you, Anthony. Cadu was... What are you doing, on? I was just reading something.
I'm looking through all the past.
Oh, it's gone now. Yeah, but... Was it right? I'm going to read a comment now. Right, Cadu was right. No historic stones round here. Yes. Ross in space. Okie dokie. Right, so let's get back to some other things that came up. Oh, by the way, I should do a warm welcome. I haven't done a proper welcome at all. If you're new to this, I mean, what we're really looking at is the way in which so much of not just British history, this seems to happen everywhere. New Zealand history, we've done some stuff on. Australia. Actually, no, I'm not much in Australia, but yeah, we need to do that. Quite a bit on North America. The pre-Columbian history just disappeared. And the same's happened with Britain, and it's for sort of political reasons. And tonight we're going to see a really good example of a difference between history that was recorded and accepted before roughly the 1680s, and then what happened during that, well, what I would describe as a, well, it was a coup, really, wasn't it? Not just me describing it, that's what happened, it was a coup. It's called the Glorious Revolution, but actually, if you look at it, William turned up with, 20,000 men or whatever. He was invited in by the city. There's still a sort of hangover from the Civil War, and they ousted the kings, and they brought their own puppet rulers in, and that's what we have ever since. And it doesn't suit this sort of artificial monarchy to be reminded of a real history and a real British. Tell you what, actually, there's a bit of Wilson and Blackett, which I'll read to you, which put it very well. And I'm only sort of cribbing their notes anyway. It's their story. They're the ones who, well, definitely alerted me to this, and it's, you know, it's them we're here to talk about, isn't it? And I do have a passage from King Arthur Conspiracy, basically saying exactly the same thing. That's what I say, all right? So there we go. Right, just a little one to throw in here about this cross again, the stone. This is from Dave Watson, who's full of great contributions. Good to see you visited the Gallery. Right, the 7 stones on display raise far more questions than answers. In particular, which Samson raised the cross to Ithdid? If it's Samson of Dol, who was a contemporary of Ithdid, it should be dated 6th century, which is, I think, the one it is, and that's what Wilson and Blackett go with. Whereas the so-called experts, place it bizarrely in the 10th century, over 400 years after Ithdid's death. As your druid, as Lawrence pointed out, Samson of Dol can be securely dated to 562 AD, the only historical certainty in early British history. So, the Abbot Samson referred to on the other stem was dated late 9th century, but has recently been redated at various parts of the 8th century. The dating of stones, you need to read Wilson and Blackett's book, and there's another book which I actually bought a copy of. Beautiful book by Collingwood, which is all about how you date stones. Beautiful book. He's actually a professional artist. He's had stuff. Hang on, you're not seeing this, are you? Sorry, I didn't realize you weren't seeing it. He's had exhibitions. He's irony of ironies. He's got an art exhibition of his paintings and that in Cardiff Museum. We did have last year. I haven't checked if it's still there, okay? And then, which is ironic because as beautiful as his book is about the dating of stones, it's just complete nonsense. It's just ridiculous. He just assumes Northumbrian stone starts it all. He kind of assumes it's Viking or Scandinavian for no particular reason. And then he just creates this trail of how the styles are being copied around and creates a timeline. It's an artist writing a book about something he doesn't really know about. Beautiful drawings of the stones. Highly recommend the book, but the dating and all that. Unfortunately, that's still the basis for a lot of this. Right, okay, so as the Druid Lawrence pointed out, Samson of Dol can date to 562. Right, we've done that page. I just went back because I wasn't sharing it. Right, the other one, 9th century. Right, Peter Bartram, most talented genealogist of the 20th century, was browbeaten into revising his dating of Abbot Samson. You had to move the people then from late 7th, early 8th centuries, so around the 690s, in favour of the chronology proposed by Wendy Davis. He did so grudgingly while pointing out that St. Dovrig would have died before his grandfather was born. I love that kind of stuff. So the grandson has died before his grandfather was even born. Then we've got the Hewell Cross, dated late 9th century, which has been used as the base for dating almost all the Group 3 British monuments. So the guy who put forward this theory mistakenly based it, amongst other things, on the presence of a Samson, another one, you see, this is the problem, who appears amongst the clerical witnesses to a land of charter, not realising that the Samson in question was a lay witness, not even a bishop. So this cross is believed to be the finest example of a closely dated Group 3 cross, with all succeeding crosses being debased and inferior to it. Yes, this is the point. This is the point here, you see. What the current consensus is, that we start off with beautifully made stones, with incredible high levels of craftsmanship, and then they got worse. Not better with practice, it supposedly got worse. I don't know, it got lazier or something. Not really sure why, but just like one of the things, everything gets worse. So I don't read all this out because it goes on. But what I explained in then is, so what we have is a situation where we've got, the crosses, they get worse in quality, and it's just a matter of the dating being completely wrong. So he goes, all part of the lunacy. And to close, get this last bit down here. Oh, and I still haven't made the mouse bigger. The script on Iolo's stem is probably Roman cursive as used on wax tablets. Hence the long oblong panels with inscriptions on many of our monuments, including the second Samson cross referred to in this email. If you want to learn more, let me know. Regards, Dave. Yeah, I'm hoping to have a chat with Dave soon. And Dave and I are going out to a couple of places. So more on that's coming, okay? One thing I would like to say, just, excuse me. And I'd like to ask some people. Well, you laugh, Arnie's laughing. There's more good comments. Go on, tell me another one. Caption, I win, paper beats rock. Ah, very good, very good. Tartaria definitely in the same bracket as Flat Earth. Made up internet beep beeps. Aimed at muddying the waters of any real out there research. Well, I don't know much about the Tartaria stuff. I just haven't looked at it much. What I am interested in though, and I've been reading a lot of, and I like to do a little bit about, maybe next week if people are interested, and I'll try and put some small videos out, and then have a longer chat. Although, because I keep it in one, I get the black background. I need to put a number on the other option on. That's the trouble. I haven't set up the magic thing. There we go. That's good fun, isn't it? Oh, it is for me, not for everyone else watching. Alright, I do apologise. Hang on a second. Let's put a number on the green screen one. That might make it easier. That could be number... What number have we used? 6. Okay, there we go. Right, sorry about all these delays. Yes, so... what we're looking at is the Flamenco books. Is the real... What I think they do very well is where they correspond to Wilson and Blackett and then where they separate. They're very interesting and detailed analysis, which has helped me a lot. What happened?
I don't know. No, I don't want to start.
Which is, what they do is they show how flimsy this dating of this use of Roman documents and Greek documents, particularly those two, and showing how the provenance, the history of these documents and the reliability of them is dreadful. Hardly any of it can be, almost none of it can be dated before the 14th or 15th century. It just appears. And they found this ancient document, like it's a miracle. They found one which is never seen again. All that's left is the copy they made of this original document that no one knew about. And off it goes. So I'm really looking at that again in more depth, because there seems to be one document which I'm going to have a chat with Scott about, because he's like a professional historian, he's a full-time academic. And the point of this document is there's a few pages of Tacitus, which is supposed to be datable to the 9th century. There's one document, there's one book, most of it's destroyed, but there's a little bit of Tacitus in there. And that seems to be, as far as I can tell, the whole basis for...
No, it's not used.
Am I still working on me? The whole basis for believing that the Roman records go back to ancient. I mean, I find this really shocking. I don't know if other people find this shocking as well. We got this whole history based on Roman and Greek records which have no provenance, and they don't seem to be ancient at all. They could all be a Renaissance hoax. It's such a big idea, it takes a while to settle into your brain. So, I do like to look at flamenco, but I would like to say, for people I know, not everyone's into Tartaria and all that, I'm not. But I am interested in the way they look at the documents and the dating, and why the Roman and Greek thing. Where it changes from Wilson and Blackett is they quite rightly, well I would argue, they seem very convincingly anyway, to take apart the credibility of these Roman and Greek records and show that they could well be Renaissance forgeries, there's nothing ancient to back them. One of the ones I was reading about a couple of days ago was the work of Pliny is the only real reference to the Battle of Cannae, for example, one of the greatest battles in ancient times. I used to a lot of wargaming stuff. Cannae's one of the biggest slaughters in history. The Romans lost again, by the way. Why everyone thinks the Romans are invincible? I mean, all the great tragedies are, Lake Trebuchet and Cannae, and it's all Roman armies getting hammered. You look at Crassus, when he went off to fight, in his sort of civil war, in the succession wars with Julius Caesar and all that. He got hammered by a foreign army. They get wiped out a lot. It's a very strange history. And more I'm starting to become convinced that, I don't know about that on. Just exit that, delete that. You don't need that. More and more I'm starting to become convinced that the brains behind it, the writer who was looking for inspiration, included a visit to Britain, and he's lifted that history. Now, the problem is Fomenko and those Russian new chronologists are not aware of any of that. So they quite happily take apart the Roman and Greek chronology, which, yes, I know, seems to work. I'd agree with it anyway. I'm not convinced that it's correct. They have the way they deal with they only look at a very mainstream kind of overview of British history. I find quite disappointing. And I would love it to put the work of Wilson and Blackett and the history that we know and the stuff that used to be taught in schools and was in all the history books before 1700. Most of it's still taught in Welsh schools till the 1920s, is the correct version, and how that ties in with what they're trying to do. So I haven't looked at the Tartaria at all, but what I'd like to do is see if we can rebuild what could be a compressed timeline. But I think the British history still stands up. So there we go. That's a bit academic sounding. I haven't rambled too much there. I've got no feedback now. What's happening now? It's just gone.
It's just crashed, so I'm going to reload.
Oh, everything's crashed over there. All right, okay. I'm going to go blind.
This laptop's...
Well, right. Okay, so hang on a second. So I am going to... This all does tie together tonight, all right? Amazingly. All right, so there's the end of that bit there. Okay, thank you very much, John Brimelow. I don't know where the book is now. But last week I was showing you excerpts from a book about star maps, which got more and more bizarre the more I read into it, about this remote viewing and all this kind of weird stuff, which I actually found quite fascinating, and my mind's more open to these things than it ever used to be, okay? But still, that's the full title, and you can find it on this website, biblio.com, and it wasn't too expensive. There you are, with shipping it's about £7 something, okay? So if you're into that kind of thing, it's got quite a bit of what I call mainstream overview of Egyptology, and then what it does, it really starts to interpret hieroglyphs and stuff as I'll just talk a little bit about it, just slightly about it. What you'll find a lot in these this is a weird one, okay, in a lot of the pictograms, which we're now using hieroglyphics in the Welsh language, you can now work out by using the names what more and more things mean. What you see quite often is a sort of a tower in the middle with a spiral around it, and then you tend to get to the gods, and it could be like, I think all the names in Welsh now, I got to untranslate, not Gwas, Anubis, and the other one, they're the gods, and they're looking at either side, sorry, Osiris or something. They got most of them wrong anyway, which is why I don't spend too much time learning the mainstream names for all them. And what you have is this twist in the middle, and the idea is, this is, so be careful now, this is to do with the rotation of the stars through the precession and stuff. And they're the ones grinding it round and round. But it also works in other Earth models. Okay, let's not get distracted by that. Can't see any comments or anything. Are we on? Is it no internet? No internet.
Well, I don't think it's the internet because I got full bars, but it's just this laptop.
Yeah, but it's Google. Try it. Oh, Google's not working.
It's not opening. No.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's.
Green screen.
What?
It's gone black. I knew.
Oh, I pressed the numbers. Oh, hang on. One of them have 6. Okay, right. So here we go. All right. So what I'm going to try and do, like I said, the plan was as of the last couple of weeks. Okay, back on me. Let's get that on there. Right. Hang on a second. Everything's going wrong. Stay cool, Ross. It'll be fine. I don't think tapping the screen is going to help, man, but it's worth a try. Right. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, just quickly. I'm going to... This is a passage from King Arthur Conspiracy. I do need a bit of help here. Right, okay. See a little bit. If you got the book, you might already recognise this. Can I go full screen here? No, I can't. Oh no, what have I done? Oh no, whatever I just pressed wasn't a good idea. And Ali's computer's died completely now. Oh no, I had it all queued up and it's just jumped. So I was right, here we go. Right, okay, this particularly for you, Dane, as well, because I know you're interested in seeing about this. And I've got some of the books mentioned here, and I've got some of the other references. Yeah, what I'm planning to do now is put more of these little 5-minute videos up during the week covering different history points. I've also got very excited to let you know that I had another great chat with Luke last week. You know, Luke has been doing all this stuff, how to analyse the Bible and the numbers and all this kind of stuff, and there's some great, brilliant stuff, which I have to edit down into videos because we talk for, I don't know, at least a couple of hours. So they're not suitable for 5-minute slots. So I think maybe half-hour, 40-minute slots, maybe even a bit longer. Depends on the topic, and I get those up as quickly as possible, right? Just all go on that. And where I need help on the books as well. Because thankfully, the print files I was given by Alan and Barham to redo the King Arthur Conspiracy are much better quality than the other ones I got. Because if you remember, I've been bringing stuff back, and one of the big jobs has been transcribing it. Like I've got photographs on my phone, or I've got loads and loads of type sheets which I scan in. And however we try, we can't get anything to computer read them and convert them into Word documents so we can work on them. But thank goodness, with King Arthur Conspiracy, it's come out pretty well. So all that happens is then you get the odd E becomes a C, and like a double I becomes, you know, little things. But I'm going to type it all in, all right? And I have to go through them, add in spaces, and just do little corrections and stuff like that, okay? So you'll see. So I'd need some help with that, please. But you will need to have a copy of King Arthur Conspiracy already. That's the only snag with some of my regular helpers. Because not many people have got a copy of this book. Because clearly you need to be able to read against the original book so you know that what it should read. So I'm sorry, so if anyone can help with that, it will speed it up. But it won't take that long anyway. And as I mentioned before, I'll do 2 halves to it. See this kind of thing happens. Because this Battlefields world, which I hope you can see, I don't know, I really don't know what people can see, was over 2 lines, hyphenated on the PDF. And because I'm doing different font size and stuff, I have to unhyphenate. So it's just that kind of level of work. It's not difficult, okay? Right, okay, so what I'll do there, I'll not talk too much about the Percy Enderby bit, because I've got the book, and we're going to go through it in a second. Right, oh, it's weird, I can't see any comments or anything. Is it coming to get to life, Aunt? Slowly.
No.
I like the chat, the two-way thing, and also feel slightly less crazy as talking to a little camera. No one else. Angie says you can see it next door, okay. Right, so the first point coming on to here, and thank you as well, Lego. Robert Pierce helped me find some of the references in Wilson and Blackett's work, because I was against the clock today. Right, so the book boldly and confidently states the origins of the British from Brutus, and right up front it illustrates a genealogy of Charles II. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. Oh, hang on, that's going to be green screen, isn't it? That's going to be black. There we go. I don't know if that works. So there's the book. As you know, you can get copies of this from Gyan Publishing, Gyan Books. Untitled.com. If you want to get old British books like this, crucial books, published in 1661. I don't know any British sources, apart from I've got A books, where you can also buy what turns out to be a Guian print, and they just stick another tenner on top. You still have to wait and have it printed by the same people, so that's up to you if you want to support A books. I don't know much about them. Right, okay, maybe some confidence in getting a book ordered from this country, perhaps. So there's a book, Cambria, which is the old British name, as it were, or Britain in its perfect lustre, is the second name I prefer. Alright, hang on a second, you'll see the title page. There you go. So this is sort of thing history books used to carry before the 1680s in the queue, okay? This is 1661. And now this is dedicated to King Charles. So a lot of people, and a lot of sympathy for this opinion, that they're the last real true kings of Britain, as opposed to feisted European kings put on as puppets. So then you got all about Sacred Majesty Charles II, King of Great Britain. There's a bit of blurb. And then The Gentle Reader, Welsh or English. This is about Britain. And we will be coming to Picts and stuff as well. Right, hang on a second. Right, so the one of the great is from the Welsh blood, you see? This is the... Because the Welsh ended up with that being the home of the British royal family, the original one. It did not all begin with 1066 and all that. Now, hang on a second. I should have... I'll uploaded these pages. It all looks so confusing today. Right, so there you go. It might be difficult to see. Alright, so hopefully that's easier than you looking at the book I was showing in my hands. Same book. All we've done, in the middle of all the chaos of boxes everywhere, is lift these 2 pages, okay? So, I'm sorry the mouse isn't bigger. I'm trying to make this... If someone knows the shortcut to do that, that'd be great. Right, Arnie's trying to find another notebook now. Nope, Arnie's going to sneeze off camera. He's going all the way out the room so you can't hear him sneezing. Okay, right, so this Hywel Dda, Prince of South Wales. Now, you might know he only dates the 9th century. So this is where we have to do a little bit of our own jumping and detective work. Hywel Dda is famous for bringing a codified set of laws in. He was actually using an older set of Glamorgan laws, but he's the one who wrote them all down. And you can go and see, I go there all the time, where Hywel Dda's place is. And I can't read the comments for someone to tell me. My cousin lives there. West Wales, anyway. It's in West Wales, and you can see his whole place, Kingdom of Deheubarth, all that kind of stuff, all right? So we can follow this, and then what we have then from him is Hywel Dda. One of the other important things about him is a great period of writing. So a lot of records from his wedding, including the genealogies of from his wedding, but also I think it's one of his sons or daughters gets married, and you can see their genealogy. So Hywel Dda, or Hywel the Good, he goes you can trace him all the way back to the British kings, okay? Right, so then we come down a bit then. Oop. Now, what's happening here is a bit of a switcheroo, okay? This is where one of the problems with British history comes in, one of the big, big, big changing points. I wish I could zoom in a bit here, hopefully you can read it. So we go from Hywel Dda, South Wales, and then suddenly everything moves to North Wales, to Powys. Well, Powys was central Wales, towards North Wales. So we get to Owen, then we're Edith and Llywelyn, and then we're off and running with Griffith and the North Walian kings and all that. And from them, then we get the Stuarts, okay? And this suddenly struck me today. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. The very name Stuarts, I'm going to read more about it in a second. They were picked as stewards, very much like the Lord of the Rings again, if you think about it. What's his name, Arnie? Who's the steward?
Denethor.
Denethor, very good, which is a very sort of Welsh-sounding name anyway, isn't it? Denethor. So you got Denethor in Lord of the Rings being the steward, and you got the Stuarts. I don't know, I'd love to see the comments on that and see if I'm digging myself a big hole or if people think there's something in that, possibly. Right, so then we go into the Stuarts, and then we've got you can see then there, this is where, on the right-hand side of the page, as you see Robert and all your Scots kings and the Jameses. The Jameses then, and sorry, here we go. So then we got James the Sixth of Scotland became James the First of England. I'm just looking at the connection there. So you got James the Fourth, King of Scots, married Margaret, eldest daughter to Henry the Seventh, King of England. Which is interesting because, of course, Henry the Seventh was the Tudor. So then you come back into the Welsh royal family again that way. Because this is Henry the Seventh I also want to talk about, because he also used his somewhat tenuous links to the Welsh royal family, or the British royal family that was based in Wales. Call them the Welsh, call them the British, whatever's easier for yourself to cope with. That's how he made his claim, which is why he had the Red Dragon of Wales, and he claimed to be fulfilling the prophecy with Richard III, his emblem being the white boar, which in heraldic terms is the same as a white dragon. So this was the red dragon against the white dragon, and he convinced the Welsh people and a lot of other British people that he was fulfilling the prophecies of Merlin, and this would be the time when the red dragon would overcome the white dragon and the British king would be put back on the throne instead of the Scythians. This is kind of the idea, okay? So even then, and then we have this line runs through. So we got the Jameses, and of course you know Charles came along, Charles I. Then we had an area of history which I would like to look more into, because I think we're just not told anything even close to the truth of what really happened. Because obviously Charles I, and written out of history as a dictator or Lord Protector, is old Oliver Williams, known as Cromwell. Of course, because Charles I lost the... they call it the English Civil War, don't they? And it wasn't... Most combatants weren't English, because there was at least 4 nations involved. So it wasn't particularly English. It wasn't really a civil war, because that's between 2 parties in the same country. And it's more a revolution, if you think about it, because it actually changed the form of government and kicked out the monarchy. So it should really... I think they changed the name. They call it something like the 4 Nations War or something like that. English Civil War, we all know what we're talking about, don't we? Yeah. But in many ways, I think it's a sort of, you could call it the 2nd or 3rd English Revolution. They always say there's no revolutions in England, but it was loads, this being another one of them. Right, but anyway, after the Reformation, from the Civil War, which actually was a revolution, Charles II comes in, and there we got... Charles II, monarch of Great Britain, whom God of his infinite goodness protect from his enemies. And that's Charlie too. That's this chap who's the book is dedicated to. Fabulous book. I mean, I think if I was publishing this myself, what I would do, because the second half, well, most of the book is heraldry and all that kind of thing, which is really interesting. I think it'd be really good just to have the history part, which is... Yeah, the first 100 odd pages, which is just British history. So if you're worried this book is too big, you'd never read it. You really only have to read... Yeah, and you got some ancient history. I suppose it's pretty good, actually, the first couple of 100 pages. And then we go on to this loads and loads of heraldry and all that kind of thing. Which, if you want to do in-depth research, I'm sure is brilliant. But for me, that's as far as I need to go on this book. All right, so we've done a little bit on that. All right, hang on. Was it 6? No. Oh, I want some feedback. This is weird. Right, okay. Let's get back to this a second, all right? Right, so the royal family... Here we go. This is in there. Like I said, I'm going to split the King Arthur Conspiracy book into 2 volumes. 1 volume is all this kind of stuff. The ancient history, migrations, that kind of thing. Really, really good overview. And luckily the book splits almost exactly in half. Not exactly the chapters. I think 11 has to go in part 1 and 10 in part 2. But, you know, it's really good. And then the second volume of the book will be all about the migrations to America and everything. A lot of people only want to read about that. And it stops you having this big fat book, which, I don't know about you, my copy falls apart of the old print job. Alright, so I hope people are happy with that, and they'll both be indexed as well. which is why I need the next bit of help. Right, okay, so the royal family, the paramount British kings, located in Estlwg, later Morgannwg and Gwent, southeast Wales. Now this is the claim then, that they were the direct descendants of Brutus. Okay, so this is the bit that gets avoided. Even back then they avoided this. And this is probably because the steward, see, Alan spells it out there. Look, how did I miss that? You have to read these books. I say Alan and Baron. You have to read their books many times to get all the detail. There's so much detail. You know, I'm trying to break them up a little bit to make it easier for us all to consume and digest. There's so much. So the Stuart's descent is from Walter the Steward, who is the son of Nest, the daughter of King Griffith ap Llywelyn of Gwynedd, and Fleance, son of Banco. So this is the tricky bit, because what we're having here is, hang on. Oh no, don't do that again, Rush. Done it again, idiot. Yeah, just make sure we haven't got rid of that. Okay. Up. Yeah, okay. I mentioned here, of course, and it's not me inventing all this stuff or coming up with it. Then Oliver Williams, alias Cromwell. Now, what Alan's view on that then is he ended the monarchy and brought in a democracy. So, I don't know, he closed down Parliament as well. Like I said, the more you look into history, you realise it really is written by the victors. That's not just a saying. So who knows what really happened to Cromwell? Did he even cancel Christmas? Let's keep it topical. Shall we say it's Christmas now? All right, so the British kings located in Estlwg. They avoid the thing going all the way back to Brutus, which is... in here we got the whole early migrations and everything, okay? It's in there, sorry, but these days it's not. So I jumped a little bit confusingly then. Right, so a bit more about Scotland, as that's the main feature today. Right, this unmistakably points to a firm belief in the simple fact that the Cymry were in Britain for 1,000 years before the Angles and Saxons. And the right of British kingship resides with the descent from the first king, who was Brutus. There's no mention in here, because these other stories coming up, like my new friend Dane and people like that, they show these other lines, ancient lines and all that kind of stuff, but these are never mentioned. If you look at the claims the kings and queens make, like this book, the claims of Charles the Stuarts, who were Scottish, they don't mention that. You don't see Charles II claiming ancestry that goes back to the Picts, or as it mentions here. There is no mention of supposed descents from the minor northern lines, such as Aidan ap Gavran, Aidan Fradog, the traitor, or Kenneth MacAlpin, or any others. The throne is claimed through Cambrian, which is Welsh, Cymry, Welsh descent, and so from Brutus. Alright, and we get more sources about this. I'm not going to read all this, because it's just text. It's not the best thing to look at, I understand that. Even if I am floating around. Am I floating around in it? Yeah, I suppose I am. Another great book here. This is an important book, which I don't have. Yeah, the musical and poetic relics of the Welsh bards, etc., is in fact an openly determined defensive publication, which constantly rebuts and refutes constant false allegations from English sources. So what we're seeing here from 1661, the time of this book, and if you read books before it, or if you look at Shakespeare's plays, you'll see plays like Troilus and Cressida going back to ancient Troy. You'll see the general history. You'll see King Lear, an ancient British king. I can't remember them all now, but there's quite a few of the Shakespearean plays go directly back to ancient British / Welsh history. Now, I keep adding British and Welsh, and this is a no-win, because this is when you get hammered by both sides, all right? It's like being the referee. Because if I say British all the time, a lot of Welsh people say it's Welsh history, it's Welsh history, it's Welsh history. It is Welsh history, but it's also English history. And this gets me in a lot of trouble with particularly more militant Welsh nationalists, you know. It's nothing to do with the English. It is, as you see in this, but the English are being written out of their own history. They do not realise. This myth of them being Anglo-Saxon, again, doesn't exist in here. That comes in later, as we'll see, okay? This is their kind of key point to everything, really, is what we're discussing tonight. All right, so one of the things he talks about, you can read it here, we're talking about Scholasticus, who destroyed... Hang on, I'll come here. There we go. Jump to the right bit. I love this book, by the way. This first half of King Arthur Conspiracy. Nothing to do with... nothing much to do with King Arthur, really. And nothing much to do with the migrations to America, which will start about page 290, which I think is better split, because this deserves its own book, and so does the American stuff. Anyway, hope you agree. Unfortunately for our history and poetry, all the scriptures thus collected were burnt. Yeah, so what I've skipped through is that when the Welsh princes were captured and taken to the Tower of London, they'd be there for years and years. They'd request their private libraries and collections. And of course, this nutcase came along, Scholasticus in Latin, and he's a Scholan in Welsh. He burnt the lot. He thought he was doing the right thing to get rid of this. And he probably was, from a political point of view. This stuff is dangerous. I'm hoping it's not dangerous now. I'm also Blackhead had a really tough life being persecuted. No one's bothered me, so I hope it's okay now. I don't think their royal claim is quite so fragile. Maybe it is at the moment. I don't know. Old Liz is getting on a bit. We'll see what happens when she passes on. Because they've all got Arthur in their name as well, haven't they? Which is weird. Charles, as Lauren pointed out, got Arthur in his name. And then you've got this whole bizarre Avalon connection idea through Diana into Harry and Will's, which I think requires a lot of leaps of faith. But still, it's... As you know, with people like a lot of history, it doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter if you can make a hard link. What matters is the idea pushed hard enough. So maybe that would be a return of the... Because they call themselves the Waleses, didn't they? Did you ever notice that? I thought that was interesting. When they do polo and stuff, they need a surname. And they didn't choose Windsors. They don't go as Charlie Windsor and Harry Windsor when they were younger and they all played polo together. And Will's Windsor and all that. They went to the Waleses. So I thought it was really interesting. Because Prince of Wales is a title. It's not really a surname as such. I mean, their real surname, of course, is Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. But that's another issue. Windsor, it has been for the last 100 years now, isn't it? So there we are. I've got to call them Windsors. Fair enough. All right, sorry, I'm rambling on. It's going to be up here all night. It's gone 9 o'clock already. All right, so then we quote Caesar from Causus Gallico, I always get that wrong. And what they're saying there is that this wonderful... This is the kind of thing you have to do. Stuff like that to correct the document. Because it's just been not scanned. The PDF I've got has been converted. Right, so what we have then is how wonderful these British people were. Now, interesting here. He is not clad in skins like a Scythian. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know so much about the old Picts. I was going to call tonight's show, by the way, Taking the Picts. And, or Sacs in the cities, as in Saxons in the cities. But I thought Taking the Picts was good. So anyway, the Picts are supposed to be the Scythians, and that's what Dane would say as well. And they could have been on these islands. Depends where you look for your evidence. 300 BC seems to be the earliest one that I can come across. And it could be a lot more recent when they arrived in the top of Scotland. And there was almost immediately a clash with the British. They coexisted for quite a long time, however long. It's difficult because there's not a lot of written records or anything from the Picts. And I'm sure they've got a much richer history than we're aware of. I mean, they've got rock art, they've got clearly military prowess, they had some sort of civilization. Just because they didn't have great stone buildings, so what? That's not the only measure of a civilization, okay? So, and I hung fire, and I don't know how you can find out more about the Picts, really. And I know that, I bet, I can't see any screens now, right? I'm just speaking to a black dot. And I bet Monica's going to have a comment or two about the Picts. I know it's a hot subject for us, so everyone, let's make sure we stay chilled. I know people get emotional about this. It's a long time ago. We really don't know for certain, right? So let's not fall out. Right, so okay, so we go. So the false records, those histories all got burnt. And this is when the idea started to be placed about the English being separate, okay? So the modern English, now jumping forward, I would suggest this is really the 1680s after this story starts kicking in. That they go back to Hengist and Horsa, done a short video about those, based on and then this weird thing we do in this country, which I think is the smoking gun behind all of it. Whenever I throw this, I've started using this point a lot recently. Whenever you throw this at people and say, so why is it you think then that the British seem to be the only country in the whole world where we use foreign histories instead of our own and call them classics, and that's the main emphasis of teaching? Nowhere else does this. So they imported the foreign Greek and Roman classical histories. And the problem they had then, because they were pagans, and these are Christian fundamental nutters. I've got some of the books there. I've got Bishop Guest's Celtica Origanis, which I read through. I don't know how. It's huge, 2 volumes. Their difficulty is they have to go back to creationism and that everything descends from Noah, which they couldn't do with the Greeks and Romans. So they also had to bring in a religious emphasis on this, which is why the Hebrew, Israel and Judean records became our history as well. So in short, the generations had dressed themselves in borrowed garments. And I have to say with Wilson Black, there's this, oh God, I can see some comments. Hooray! How far behind are we? Miles. Right, okay. Uh-oh. The funny thing is here, is that Alan's quite keen then that the British are the lost tribes. So maybe this is our proper history when we talk about Hebrews. Or maybe the Hebrews aren't the lost tribes. Whatever, anyway. Okay. Right, like our ships. We have ships, and the paras are called Bellerophon is their logo, and Hermes, Ajax, or Ajax, Achilles, all this kind of stuff. We don't use... Why don't we have British warships called the King Tudrig, the King Myrig? Actually, they do have the Merlin, don't they? There's a Merlin, there's a helicopter, I think. Oh, gosh, there's loads of people know and I don't. Right, Ross, did you see any responses to the TikTok No Roman Empire video you played last week? I did, yeah, I'll get back to that a little bit later. I can just quickly say that I thought the responses were incredibly rude. And they just did a character assassination on her and didn't take any notice of what she said. I didn't agree with all of it, but I thought a lot of it is very interesting, actually. Right, so also another thing here. So the British, I need to check this if that's been scanned correctly, because I can't remember the word herules. So don't quote that one, okay? So the mass of the English are mainly El Sicilians, which is the Syrians, the Vandal Mercians, Old British, Sloiger, Cornish, all this kind of stuff, have all been represented as Anglo-Saxons. Okay, so right, we're going to jump forward now, because then we get all this stuff about the false story was put out, all that kind of thing, Glastonbury, all this kind of stuff. And this is the trouble. See, it's going to be broken up the text a bit, and also we get some, as you know, if you read a lot of Wilson and Blackett, you get slight detours then. Okay, so you can maybe slow motion this and come through it. Right, then we kind of get a little trailer that we're going to be talking about the Maddock going to America, but all that's prohibited, okay? Right, okay, so there's loads more about that, alright. Then we come to the 1794 book, okay? Because 1794 was a big period, and one of the reasons was the ban that had been put on printing in the Welsh language was finally lifted. Caxton's printing press came in the 1490s, immediately censorship. The whole Welsh language censored, loads of stuff censored. It took hundreds of years for that slow to get repealed. And then, poof, all this kind of pile of this volume had been sitting there, this water like building up, pressing against the dam. As soon as they opened the dam, we're off. This blinking scanner the reader does that, you see, it's Colbren. And then we go back to Cimmerians and everything. Right, okay, but I want to leave that book a minute now. Oop. You got the notes I had sitting there on. Okay, I have to use my photographic memory again now. Arturius Rex. Yeah, that's the ones, yeah. Yes, there we go. Just a second. Yeah, thanks, sir. Yeah, I did get it right. Right, Glamorgan and Gwent, page 10. Oh, sorry, yeah, I've gone black background again. And then so if you want to read more about this from Wilson Blackett's work, I am going to get back to Scotland in a second. Yeah, no, I pressed the 6. It should go back to, I think that's the lag on. Right, okay, just going to read slightly from here. Because what we got as a quote, as separate people. What we're trying to work out then is when the Picts arrived and exactly who they were, okay? Right, this is, so you have to excuse me reading, I haven't had time to scan everything in, but you can find it on page 10 of this wonderful book, Arthur, King of Glamorgan and Gwent, available from a website and all that kind of thing. Right, so it is with Nennius and Megildas that we first learn of the origins of the British, coming out of the centre of Asia, crossing around in the Mediterranean to finally arrive and settle in their great island. Here we learn of their connections with ancient Troy and early Rome. Nennius records their passage through Egypt, here we go, with the legend of the Scythian, or Scythian some people say, noble, who refused to pursue Moses when he fled in 1552 BC, and instead turned west to move along through North Africa and Spain. His descendants finally reaching Ireland 1,000 years later in 500 BC. So we've got Ireland in as well, right? So of course that's where Queen Scotty comes in, and then they eventually went over to Scotland, and the name changed to Scotland from Alban, as it's still called by the Welsh. All this fits very closely with the record of the Hittites of Asia Minor conquering Egypt in 1687 BC. Right, the Peterborough Chronicle is known as Manuscript E of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. It once belonged to Archbishop Laud and is now kept in the Bodleian Library at Oxford. That's where I've got to go, the Bodleian Library. If anyone lives near Oxford and wants to show me the way in, or be a guide, or as a reader there who writes anything, or have to tell me how to apply, I'd love to go on the Bodleian. There is an extraordinary statement on the first page of the introduction to the main chronicle. You might have seen this before, I should put it on screen. Anyway, Britain's island is 800 miles long and 200 broad. And here there are, in this island, 5 languages. English, and British, and Welsh, and Picts, and Irish, and Book Latin. English, British, Welsh, Pictish, Irish, Book Latin. Well, that's 6. So British and Welsh is the same? I don't know. The first, I think it means they're the same, British and Welsh, is there's a bit of a punctuation error. Anyway, the first people to dwell in this land were the British, who came out of Armenia, and they first took the southward part of Britain. So here we have a bold, positive, and ancient statement exactly pinpointing British origins in Armenia. See, it suddenly struck me now, and all I want, that the British tongue could be what the Lloygrans spoke. That's the pre-Saxon English. And it's been my thought, as I mentioned before, that as it was those who did the invasion in the 380s into what is now Brittany, named after them, and the Breton language, could be very close to what the Britons of England would have spoken in ancient times. Right, so, this goes on to describe the arrival of the Picts from the south, out of the Strait of Gibraltar from Scythia, with longships. So you have a statement of the Picts who came after the Irish, also coming from the Black Sea areas through the Dardanelles, across the expanse of the Mediterranean up to Northern Ireland, and on north to the Orkneys and northern Scotland, in keeping exactly with their ancestors in Russia, north of the Black Sea. So we're tracing the Picts here all the way back, Russia, north of the Black Sea. The Picts also tattooed their bodies, and they were also headhunters, employing the same customs and beliefs, using skulls for ceremonial drinking vessels and preserving them. Moses, in fact, stopped the Hebrews from tattooing themselves when they left Egypt, but the practice was common in ancient Thrace, ancient southern Russia, and parts of Asia. The Picts kept the customs in Britain, but whether other British people did so is not known. Certainly Julius Caesar says that they painted themselves. However, it is with Gildas and Nennius that the history takes form and shape. And this is, I think we'll have a bit of time. We can, if I had this prepared, it'd be even better. Because I'm not going to talk about, but I want to get the maps up if I can. So, and I've had my computer fixed, so I've now got everything on 2 drives. It's nightmaring it on. We got the... Everything's been duplicated, and then half it's been deleted. So you don't know which half's been deleted from where. I'm trying to think, because I do have the maps from the walking book. Ooh, walking illustrations. Come on, please be there. Oh no, these are my sketches. Sorry, wrong walking. They're the ones I've done for their cartoons and things. I'll have one last go. If I can't see it, I have to do without it. What I really wanted to show was the map from the walking book. The map must be there, isn't it? No, I've got the map of this. Arnie, can you find after the walking? It's just down on the bottom but one shelf there on the new setup. Alright, don't worry about that. What I'm going to do is, hopefully Arnie can find that. I'll have to show it to you. Because what you have then is, what I really want to get onto was that the stories are then, down the bottom one, the big books, big black book it is. You know, after walking, the one we're doing for bedtime stories. There's down the bottom. There's one over there. Okay, let's get a new one. Out of the stock. I have to be really careful with this one.
Oh, there's some on the floor here.
Ah, there we are. No, that's all right. That's okay. That's okay. Right. Okay. So what we have in here is a map of the campaign. Oh, hang on. It's in here. It's in here as well. But I do have the graphics uploaded. It's page 84. And thank you very much to Lego for checking the page numbers for me. Right. Actually, I wanted this map. Hopefully you can see this. Because what we're showing then is there seemed to have been this accommodation was made between the Welsh, the British, I should say. The head kings were in Wales, but included Cumberland, which is Cymruland, and Northumberland. Oh, it's just gone. Hang on, don't you a second. Yeah, okay, so check so you see that map. So what you have, everything's in reverse and delayed. This is going to be impossible. You got the ships and the fleets using this Arran as this sort of centre point, and the armies marching up the coast and being supplied by sea. And the campaign of Arthur II, by Wilson Blackett's version, it starts off fighting Jutes and Angles and all stuff, and ends up going right up into the top of Scotland to try and drive the Picts completely out of the country. It's barbaric. It's awful. It's a campaign of genocide. It's not something to be laughed at all. And it seems the final peace treaty was that the Picts could remain, but the daughter always had to marry someone from the British royal family. So that's how they kept a sort of lid on it. So the Pictish line went through the mother, but they kept constantly marrying. A new man would be brought in to be the king. Yeah, there's an easier map. Get an idea. That's where where the Picts were. So during this period, the British would have been dominant in most of the southern half of Scotland, not just Strathclyde. Right. Okay. So, right. So I'll just talk quickly about that one. This is where you get all those battles, and you can see the full campaign. And I'm going to do a T-shirt for this one. It's going to be Arthur on tour, and the year 560s with a map, and on the back is a list of all the battles. Right, so with the fight, the fight was between King Arthur and the invading German tribes and their Pict and possibly Scots and Irish allies. So this is where a situation where the Picts and Scots are not quite the same, okay? So the Picts would seem to be the ones from Russia, the painted headhunter types, and the Scots would have come similar route but via Egypt as opposed to the route the Picts took, which had been over the top more. So the description given by Sibbald indicates that Arthur, Sibbald, Sibbald, indicates that Arthur came to the fortress and found his enemies behind a wall, and then he adopted the Roman tactic of building an outer wall to keep them in and prevent their escape. Here at the last great battle, King Arthur spent 3 days storming the defended position and legend tells how 960 of his enemies fell in one charge by the British. The battles listed by Nennius are entirely consistent with the military campaigns pursued by a British paramount king, moving up from the south to clear out invaders around the Clyde and Forth estuaries who were spreading south. The Brutes tell how Arthur drove the Picts from the area of Alclede into Murif, a country otherwise termed Reged. These are quite definitely northern areas, and Reged, also known as Murif, was the area between Stirling and the Forth in the east, and Dumbarton and the Clyde in the west. The word Mur is wall, and indicates this defensive and vital area north of the Antonine Wall between Stirling and Dumbarton. So we got this Picts right up in the north, and you go all the way up, right up there. And Arthur trying to drive them into the sea, but an accommodation was met. So hang on a second, we've gone through all those books, haven't we? Wow, it's brilliant. Do I have any notes? I was just make sure there's something I was going to come back to. Oh, it's got buried under all these books. They're heavy books. They're all hardbacks. They're all heavy. Yeah. So what? So let's talk a little bit more about that one. Hang on a second. There's one more thing on here. Yeah. There was this one little bit, because it's a great piece of Alan's writing. Actually, the text has got messed up a bit. Let's sort this out. All right, won't do it now. Right, the 700-year-old, then another thing that's interesting to talk about is Henry Schoolcraft then, because he was looking into this history, not aware of it, you see. So the Battle of the Survival of the Marvellous Key, because what links this ancient history, and why Wilson and Blackett put it all into one big King Arthur conspiracy book, is they spend the first half of the book building this amazing story of the migrations and the language and the writing style and the language can be traced all the way back through the carved stones, through like the Lemnos Stela and the references all the way back to the Middle East and all the way back to Egypt. And of course you've got chimeroglyphics where you can actually read the hieroglyphs using the Welsh language. So it all fits in perfectly. And that explains to you then why you need, why it's no surprise at all that there's a writing system called Colburn came along, which was used in the ancient times by the British. And if you know the Welsh language, which I think would have been very similar to what was spoken in England as well at that time, you could have deciphered it until the Germanic tribes came along and didn't have any way of doing it. Which reminds me, one thing I need to add in. Would this still be on my screen? That would be awesome. I don't think it is, because we had to shut down everything, didn't we? Right, I'll bring it up for next week, but there's... what was her name? Jalingo or something? Very pretty. I think she's Hungarian. I'm not quite sure. Duolingo. She did a wonderful piece looking at the Welsh language, and she's done a good research, right? Not arguing research, and she talks about the Celtic languages, and isn't it weird? Like the Celtic language is completely obliterated from the rest of Europe. Well, that would be strange, if you don't obliterate languages completely. Far more logical that the Welsh language is never in, the Celtic languages as they call, were never in Europe. They were migrated here, same as the Irish language, Scots languages, Welsh languages. They've all come from different sources and not Celtic, and they've not come from Europe. So you never find sources there. What was fascinating, so if you regular viewers, most people come back week after week, so thank you very much indeed. You did a wonderful job and spreading the word. Is someone told me a long time ago, I read it somewhere, that the only couple of languages with a hl, which is double L in Welsh, a hl sound, it exists in Welsh and Cherokee. And she didn't mention it, but I was told Sanskrit, although she mentioned it's in Zulu. Well, if that Welsh connection matters, it's a bit late, I think. Sanskrit, Welsh and Cherokee. But I was trying to learn Blinking Cherokee, which is difficult, I tell you, really difficult. And I couldn't find this hl sound. And I was very worried, because it's one of these languages which pretty much vanished, like happened to Welsh and a lot of other languages. And then they get brought back through the school system. And I know the Welsh language they bring it back through the school system is a faint, pallid, slight reflection of the original depth and power of the Welsh language. And I thought the same would happen with Cherokee, which is why I was finding it so difficult to find this hl connection. because that would then back up the migrations, the Welsh migrations to America, of course, you see, in the 6th century. This wonderful person, I will link in the description when I found the video again, is, she says the languages with that slut sound is Welsh and Navajo. Got the wrong Native Americans, Navajo. So that was fascinating. So I have to go back to the comments as well, because I have a load of catching up. Thank you, Arnie, for getting it working. Well done. Found, I don't know how many, gone through about 2 or 3 laptops and got one to work and got it doing. Right, what have we got here? I always thought, the Navajo, not the Cherokee. And, wow, you look at that video. If you look down the Navajo language, you're bound to come to her channel. She has this very distinctive eye makeup, and she puts national dresses on for the different languages. It's really good. I like it. It's very academic. It's cool. And the Navajo, man, the grammar and everything is just way out there. If they've got it right, if what she's saying is correct. They haven't just tried to rework an old language, which I got huge suspicions. Watch the video, see what you think. I'll try and talk about it next week. Is that the Navajo language seems so incredibly convoluted and complicated and doesn't make sense, so many different cases and genders and all sorts of things. Not genders, sorry, but cases and parts of speech and stuff. Not genders yet. No, that's future English. Is that, or none at all. Oh God, I get in trouble there. Is that, lots of point. When I see real complications like that, and you think, is that even workable? Is that, sorry, the Scottish comments are funny, Amelia. Is that possible, or have they reconstructed the language incorrectly? And I'd love to dig more into that. I'm no linguist, but I'm trying to find a Welsh connection, so I'm not really unbiased. But have a look and see what you think. Right, I'm going to catch up on a few comments now, because it's getting quite funny in there. Amelia, I'm not being rude to you, but the way you've written it in Scottish chat, so I've got to. My wee Scottish brain is bursting now. I could be Russian, I could be Egyptian. Help my boab. Fantastic. I'm sorry if I got the wrong part of Scotland for that accent, but I don't know what a boab is. Help my boab. Yeah, I got a little bit confused there as well. Is it coming by the Egypt one, or is it coming by the Russian one? So I need to have another close look at that. I think a lot depends which part of Scotland you're in. Don't forget, Scottish history is amazingly complicated. So you've got if you go way back, if we look at the originals, okay, let's do the Scottish bit. So I did promise Dane, and we got other Scottish people here, and I'm fascinated by it. Marchel's up in Scotland, and I do apologise for brutalising this. So Marchel's got Sparta being a Highland clan, Britannica. The Celts never existed. Well, I think the Celts never existed in Britain. I agree. There seems to have been a Celtii tribe down in south of France, which is completely different. And they might have spread up the Rhine towards Germany and places like that, okay? So what we have, if you go in here, I'm going to look at the Albine migrations, about 1600 BC. They talk about Locrinus, the 3 sons. This is Marchel's. Watch your channel. Do some on Scots, Marchel. Come on, you try and pick this, because it's really complicated. So you got Locrinus, is basically the Lloegrin, the English. Albernaticus, who becomes a Scotland. And then you got, the Cymru guy, whose name I always forget, because it doesn't sound like Cymru, but he's close. Cambria, whatever his name was. Doesn't really matter, but in Welsh, isn't it? But the one we're talking about today is Albernaticus, which gives the name Alban. So that's what it's still called in Welsh. This is my view on Scotland, right? I am way open for corrections, okay? So presumably they took the whole of Scotland, and this was about 1600 BC, and I would suggest that the whole islands were uninhabitable at least for a few thousand years before. Whether there was people here 10, 20,000 years before the... I've been reading a lot about the ice caps moving as well. Got my latest chronology periodical, but let's not get distracted. Another story for another day, as Lawrence would say, is that so while Britain was uninhabitable, all the people got out for who knows how long, a couple of thousand years, maybe 50 years, no idea. Then they all moved back in, and the English people described as the one son Locrinus, he's there in England, Albernaticus in Scotland, Cambria in Wales, okay? So there's your 3 groups. So that's your first group of Scots, your Alban. But then this doesn't make complete sense, because in Wales you've got the British migrations coming 1,000 years later, and they're landing in Wales as well. So they're meeting up with old friends, where they granted this piece of land. It's kind of work that Marshall and a few others are looking into to try to untangle it, because it needs a bit of unpicking. It's not all of it can be right, because not all of it matches. So we need to. This is part of what we're doing. This group. Let's try and work it all out. So what we also have then in Scotland, it gets more complicated, because 500 BC, in the same way as you have the Cymry arriving in the Wales, the British migration, we also seem to have two other migrations. One is the Scoti, who go to Ireland. I guess confusing. The Scots are in Ireland. The Scotii, Queen Scoti, links to the Pharaohs, links to Egypt, the Book of Erse, the old Irish records. That's what they say. That's what they claim. This is where we get these connections with Jacob's Pillow, the old stone of Scone and all that. During the period of the comet, they were already encroaching into the islands and western Scotland. During the period of the comet, about 562, bam, Britain obliterated, in real problems. For various reasons, this is a good opportunity for the Scotii, the Scots, to really make inroads into western Scotland. So that now the British are now hemmed in Strathclyde. By this time, it also appears the Picts have appeared, which is the Scythians, which I would say seems to me to be a separate, and I know it's slightly confusing the way Wilson and Blackett have done it, almost ambiguous. The Scythians then are a separate migration. So I look forward to the comments. And the Scythians, the ones who come in, is via a different route. It would seem to be a more northern route, and they've ended up in the top of Scotland. Now we're inside Scotland. We got the original Alban, if you like, who were tied in with the British, which also seems to tie in. It's obviously strong connections, because that ties in with the Brutus, and you got the Cymry. So either the Alban and the Cymry are the same, or they're getting on very well, or we've got two other groups. Because Strathclyde and those areas definitely seem to be linked as British. You got like Govan in Glasgow after St Gawain. You got Whitethorn Abbey, and you've got the Arthur connections. All these connect to the British going up into Scotland. So that's your Strathclyde British connections. Whether or not that's the same as the Alban, I'm not 100% sure. But probably. Then you got the Scotii coming in the west, and you got the Picts coming in from the north. So a bit of a mishmash. And then the Gaels come into this somehow. The Gaels come later. And yet, when people talk about restoring Scottish history, they only ever talk about Gaelic and Gaels. So I don't know if that's the Nordic connections or Scandinavian connections. Scotland is really complicated, because then you do have those later Viking and Scandinavian connections. And the Gaels are coming during some of this. And I've asked loads of people, real expert historians and everything, and I can't get a clear answer about the Gaels, how they fit into all this. It's quite strange, because you have the Scots and the Irish both resurrecting Gaelic language, and neither interested in their Scotty, whatever they spoke, or the old Brythonic languages, for want of a better word, or even the Pictish tongues. So, I don't know, it's a weird one, isn't it, with Scotland? Very complicated. Right, so okay, let's look through this one. So, unlucky, Aunt. What have you done?
I don't know.
No, don't do it now. Just going to come to the comments. You just clicked on something.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
Right, okay, alright. Okay, let's look. Can you move those somewhere? I don't need those anymore. They're blocking my way. Because I want to say I'm here to be educated as well. I don't claim to be an expert on Scotland. I am just chuck them on the floor. I could have done that. You put them somewhere on, yeah, I'll just chuck them on the floor. Actually, the green screen's working alright, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's my hair.
These are quite old comments. So.
They're quite old. Oh, good. Right, it's all about the same thing tonight, isn't it? Right, who is the Saxe-Coburg, Goethe, Mountbatten, Battenberg bloodline? Well, they're Germanic. I mean, I don't think the royal family's anything real to do with British history, really. Far from the last few years. Because, what's the name of the Queen Mum's? Oh, she's not Goethe. Gunther or Grute. It's another Germanic name. Yeah, and when you come back to the Hanoverians, I mean, that's when it really kicked off. And this is, if we stayed on the Wilson and Blackett article more, you really get the history of it. The uprisings. I mean, most British people, or the majority, what does that mean? The majority were supporting the revolutions in France and America, and there was uprisings all over the place. You know, obviously the Jacobites, as soon as the Hanoverians came in 1714, the Jacobites, you know, based themselves in Scotland, they're rising up. Oh, that's the other thing as well I meant to include tonight, more Scottish than I intended originally, is the claims of Balliol and Bruce come through the Welsh royal family as well, through marrying into the family of Llewellyn, and their father being Chester, John of Chester, who's Welsh. And the name Wallace, he claims Wallace was not a peasant from Midland, no, not according to Wilson or Blackett, and they give a very convincing story. And now he comes from Chester, and he's called Wallace because he's Welsh. But there we are. Nobody in Scotland wants to hear that. I probably wouldn't want either. So it takes a lot to take some of these things in. What does help is if you consider yourself, if you're Scottish, there's a good chance you're British. Or Pictish. Or Gaelic, whatever that means. So it is complicated. Yeah, so go on, I have a chat with Marcel about that. Marcel, I'm going to challenge you now, and I'll ring you this week, alright? We're going to do a Zoom, it might be Christmas week, do a Christmas special, and you are going to unpick everything about Scotland, alright? And you can deal with Dane, because he's a bit scary looking, he's a big bodybuilder, tough guy. And I hope he's watching this. I haven't seen his comments come up. Come on, notebook, let me scroll through. Right, what else we got here? So we got Marcel, also Prytanis, King of Sparta. Interesting connection there. Fair play, you did ask, or did I misunderstand? Right, okay, yeah, there's more experts on the comments than me. I'm just the chopsy one up front, okay? Right, David Mosley. Prytanica, spelt with a P-R-E-T-T-A-N-I-K-E, was the name of Britain according to Pytheas of Massala. Claimed to be, I would add to this, around 350 BC. Prydain is thought to be a contraction of it, and thought to be a reference to tattooed inhabitants like the Picts. Yeah, so I've heard the Picts were there for as early as at least 300 BC, and that puts them 350 BC. So in fairness, the Picts have been there over 2,000 years, you know, so it's, old Arthur might have seen them as recent arrivals. Everything seems to be a bit relative, doesn't it? Right, okay. She is good, yes. There are lingo in her program, we can't more else. Now, normally it's like Duolingo, I think J-U and then lingo. I think that's what it is. Anyway, if you search origins of Navajo or how to speak Navajo or something like that, and I will find it again, I'll put it in the description. So if you come back in a day or two, it'll be there. There's Amelia's funny comments, which I read before. Prince Will I Am Arthur Louis, the once and future king. Yeah, is William going to be... Will I Am, I see, William. Will I Am Arthur. Will I Am Arthur. William Arthur. Very good. Very good. Who's that? James Stephen Emery. Thank you, James Stephen Emery. It's interesting. The William story is going to be interesting. Interesting times. The old Chinese curse, which wasn't Chinese, but I suppose Chinese is most of the old Chinese sayings I come up with. Right, we've got David Mosley. According to David Ritchie, the bulk of northerners. Now, when David sees northerners, he means quite a long way north. He doesn't mean like, you know, north of Watford Gap kind of thing. Including Scandinavians, are Scythian. Again, a Greek reference to the northern lands. So that's the trouble. The Greeks mess up everything. The more I look into it, and if you read people like Fomenko and stuff like that, anything Greek is put on this high pedestal as being, wow, the Greeks. It's really dodgy, and the provenance, how ancient any of this is, I really don't know. And you got, the trouble is, like Scythians being anywhere north, it's not helpful, is it? North of what, you know? It's like when they say anyone who's not Greek's a barbarian, you know, well, it's not much help, is it, really? And I think it's a similar thing with terms like Keltoi and stuff like that, you know, they're just fairly random. I mean, if any of it's true, and I think Pythagoras is probably Renaissance rather than ancient as well, and Archimedes, looking at the maths and the way it was developed. But hey, that's another subject. But or have you got a Pictish rugger top on? Have I? I don't know. It's just a random top. It is Scottish colours, though, isn't it? Aye. This is just random jumble. This is. I think it's like a Marks and Spencer's pseudo logo. So I put this bright red top on because it works best on the green screen. I'm going to be careful. This is actually Yeah, that's very Scottish looking, isn't it? I don't know what the flag. Don't read too much significance into this, okay?
It's Scottish looking.
I tend to buy what's cheap rather than what's necessarily fashionable, apart from this, which I love. Alright, so all my clothes get given to me because people get fed me wearing the same thing for years and years and years. Right, Aberdeen. Yes, right, okay. My Edge just shut down there. They must not want this stuff getting out. Oh, sorry to hear that. Oh, talking about the Edge, don't forget, I'm amazed, there's like 700 people already have watched the video, that old interview with Alan, talking to Theo on the Edge programme. I love it. If you want to get an overview of all this, watch that video. Just relax, get a cup of tea or something stronger, whatever you fancy. I just watch, you can never watch it too often. Okay, so what we got? David Mosley. Oh, Dave's writing more than me this week. Right, so Greeks around 500 BC are saying Keltoi is the west. First appearance of the C word. Scythia is the north, and Ethiopia south. Indica east. So the whole world, almost the whole world, is one of those four. Then that's the problem with these things, isn't it? Thank you, David. Yes, it's very general, isn't it? The Welsh for Japan is Nihon, very close to Nippon.
Yeah.
That brings me memories of the old Max Boyce song as a burst into song then. I didn't realise. I'm going to burst into song now. It's Christmas. I've been very serious tonight, haven't I? Normally it's quite low key. It's the first one. It's always a serious. Proper investigation here. Is it goes, aso, igoshi, me Welsh speaking Japanese. And there's loads of funny words, right? And then Angie, because Angie speaks like 6 languages, one of which is Japanese, says, that means Igoshi is all together. So if you're a Max Boyce fan and you know the old song, Tommy David. That's right, Tommy David, one of my heroes. I've probably got a picture of him here somewhere even. He's a Pontypridd player who ended up playing for Barbarians. Anyway, Tommy David, he big man, none like him out in Japan. Then he goes, aso, Igoshi, me Welsh speaking Japanese. And aso, Igoshi means come on, all together. So there you go. How did Max Boyce know that and write the song actually using the Japanese language? Nothing to do with what we're talking about, really, is it? Bruce is the same as Brutus, ultimately. Interesting. Okay, thank you. We know Wallace is highly educated. There's no way he was some peasant from nowhere. That never, ever, ever happens. Only in films, all right? And another thing which does annoy me, just quickly while I'm on it, is the insistence on writing the Welsh out of all history, whatever happens. And there's one there, I think he calls himself Stephen or something. I'm the King of Ireland. He's in the film there. I'll bring the Irish over, all that kind of stuff. And then in the middle of one of the battles, they change sides and flip. It's a clear allusion to what happened from the North Wales with the Gogs there, because they've been fighting Edward I. They've been warning the Scottish, don't let this. Don't move that on. They've warned the Scottish, don't let this Edward in. He's a nightmare. He's been kicking lumps out of us. He's killing us all. He's terrible, but still they did. They brought him in to broker the deal and all that kind of thing. It all went on into a battle. And then he hired Welsh mercenaries, because the Welsh are mercenaries throughout their history, real warrior group. This certain theory that Alan's put up in the past somewhere, right at the back end of the Trojan War, I think, about the Spartans and the Welsh being related through the same migration. And then this struck me because I was reading Jane Williams' History of Wales. I can actually see from here now. And in there she was saying the reason why the Lloegrians, or Lloegrus, whatever you want to call them, the pre-Saxon English, were so keen to join the Anglo-Saxons and turn on the Cymry, was that the Cymry ran them as sort of second-class citizens, with them always being the High Kings, them always being in charge. Got the red, it's a very Spartan type thing, very military, and they kept them as a very low level serf, if you like. It was a bit like, if you think the Spartans, they had their group, they did the same thing too, didn't they? So I should know their names, escape my head a second, come back to me in a minute. So it's a similar situation. So when the Anglo-Saxons came along and said, hey, you can just, be one of us kind of thing, they're like, yeah, I'd rather do that than be these lowly kind of slaves, as they were treated. But there we go. I don't know how much you can read into that. Right, okay, so there's a few more comments. Oh, we come to the end. 10:15! Oh my goodness, 10:15. Kilcaldy, as an historical etymological marker, sticks out like a sore thumb. Yep, so, Dave, do you mean Philip or his dad? Philip was a prince of Greece. Yeah, Philip was Greek. Greek-German. They're all kind of German, really, but he was in their Greek royal family, yeah. And my grandfather had the honour of cutting his hair on board ship once, because he was, well, just a Jack Tar, my granddad. He was a sailor in the Royal Navy for about 40 years, and he used to make a few quid with hand clippers. And he's either Philip or Mountbatten. My cousin reckons he's Mountbatten, I thought it was Philip. So, there you go, one of those two. Didn't say much about him, unfortunately. There is a case something for Kilkenny. Alright, I think we come towards the end now. The cross in our flag is a nod to the pharaonic overlords. Oh, Brent the gent, please explain why the cross is a nod to the pharaonic overlords. I always go with the story of Joseph Arimathea, presenting his red armorials to Arviragus in the 1st century as a thank you for the 12 hides of land and for giving the Romans a good kicking. It's not rude, that gesture. It looks a bit rude when I see it coming through. Oh my goodness, there's loads of comments tonight. I'm miles behind. Philip the recently deceased. The Greek connection was played up to subdue this Germanus. Yeah, he's more German. Thank you, David. Remember, they had multiple titles. Yeah. Well, his brother was a full-on Nazi, wasn't he? That was his brother, not some distant relative. Right, even in Braveheart, he was highly educated, spoke fluent French, etc. Yes, they did do that, didn't they? Didn't have a fling with the princess, though. Much of it was Hollywood. Yeah, I think that princess was 1 year old when he died. But there you go. It's also, I have to say, Alan Wilson talks about this, and I will do a video on the whole thing he does about Braveheart and Wallace, because and how this is going to go around is that thank you, the last bit was it is that the English portrayal of the English there is very Mel Gibson, they're very evil, that Scotland was some sort of almost like, I don't know, Eastern European country in World War II with Gestapo posts all over the place, whereas the records at the time seem to show Edward I was actually quite reasonable to the people of Scotland. And don't forget, they did invite him in to resolve their dispute over the succession. And he took his opportunity, and he's obviously a ruthless egomaniac who wanted to dominate the whole of Britain, all that kind of thing. But hey, that's kings, that's how royals work, okay? But his general treatment doesn't seem to be that bad. Whereas the reports of the Scots armies that raided south were pretty appalling. So once again, Paige, you may take your choice. Okay. Yeah, I'm fully caught up. You can carry on. Philip's sister married a Nazi. There's a black and white film on YouTube. Yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it? Because half the royals are in the audience, aren't they? But there you go. I think that's enough of that. I get myself into deep water. We're already enough problems. Oh my goodness, it's flown by. No, it's flown by for me. Talking to myself and a black dot. I hope it was okay for everyone. Are you going to... Oh yeah, the caption contest. Right, Arnie, did you write down some captions for me, did you?
Yes, I wrote down all the ones I saw before it went dead.
All the ones you saw before we lost our picture. So if you're late entry, you might not be in entry. Hang on, have I missed out any... No, that was kind of it this week, wasn't it? I didn't have time to... Oh man, this is such a fascinating bit though, I tell you. Scottish history is so... It's so much more interesting than Welsh history, really. The Welsh history, South Wales history, is pretty dull. They turned up, they just stayed there for like a couple of thousand years. Obviously, we've had, to deal with invaders and stuff, but it's fairly straightforward. There's no real migrations or anything. The Irish have a go for a bit and get kicked out. The Saxons sort of nibble away at the edges and get more as kicked out. The Normans try for hundreds of years to get in. They can't, so they marry in. So you get these kind of cross Norman Welsh families, but it's fairly stable, This is why it's frustrating. It's not a complicated history. England is the saddest in my view. Very sad, because so convincing is this narrative being sold of the English being Anglo-Saxon, Germanics, where that's only a small percentage. Even the name England and English doesn't seem to come from Angleland, as people say, and refers back to the old Iceni or Isinglass. It was Inglass, Inglass is... So, yeah.
There's another submission, can I write it down?
Oh, one more submission. Sorry, I'm going to go through the captions then. We have a nice jolly finish. If I can read your scrawl. Your beautiful handwriting, sorry.
That's because I'm writing them down quickly.
Oh, okay. Alright, so if you can remember, if anyone wants to get some last ditch... I enjoyed doing this. I hope everyone else enjoys it. I enjoy myself. Cheers me up. Must be a bit worn out today. Oh, dear. Oh, I hate moving. I mean, I used to do it a lot. Didn't it used to be so easy? when Angie and I moved house from Qatar, we lived in Qatar for a year, first year of Arnie's life, really. And we came back to Britain. We did it on the aeroplane with a couple of suitcases each. It was quite easy. I mean, the way I used to move was, when I moved around the Middle East, sell all your furniture to the local second-hand furniture dealer at one end, and buy some back another second-hand furniture dealer at the other end. I mean, all right, he lost a bit on the exchange, but still less than flying and packing and all that kind of nightmare. And I didn't have much, but now it's the books. Because Arnie collects books, Angie collects books, Leon and Zavi collect books, I collect books, and we're just... It's the books, man. It's the books. Okay, Arnie B, let's have a look what we got, and I'll tell you Angie's then. I don't think Annie's going to beat Mummy, so... Or maybe they will, I saw that one, heard that one first, didn't I? Alright, so there we are, we're up in Camland, doing a bit of dousing with the maps out. There's me and Lawrence. Okay, alright, what we got? Oh God, there's loads of them. Oh my goodness. Oh, well done everyone. Thank you very much. I love it. I love things like this. Right, hang on. I need my glasses to read Arnie's writing, as easy as it is. I am kind of floating in the air, aren't I? Do you look alright floating like that? I'll show you down the bottom corner. Oh, it's a bit late to messing about now, isn't it? Ah, come on, I'll leave it as it is for now. Plus, I'll let you try. It's worked okay, isn't it? Better than just a plain green background. Right. So, Amelia. I understand Scottish with a wee brain. I don't know, you put that in your message. Checking the map, checking it twice. I like it. Oh, hang on, there's more. Sorry, Anne. There's a rhyme. There's a rhyme, but it's more Scottish. Right, okay, can I use... please don't be offended by accents. Checking the map, checking it twice. Finding my breeks would be really nice. With breeks being trousers, I assume. Your trews. Yes, it would be nice to find his trousers. Excellent, excellent. Melissa, I don't think that map is enough to cover tree trunks. Yep, I think I see that. Yep. Branny. Brommy Cadu, I think.
Yeah, Cadu.
What's that?
Cadu was right.
Oh, it was right. No historic stones around here. Ah, very good, very good, very good. John Naylor, I think that is, can I know the name? And... Go on, yeah, you have to read this one as well, mate. Go on. Can't read your own writing, can you?
1 second. Oh, yeah.
It's not supposed to be, hang on a second. It's not the code breaking.
Behind this boulder and wipe my ass with this map.
I can hide behind this boulder and wipe my bottom with this map. Who's this deception? There's a stone around here somewhere. I have to say, I think that's one of my favourites. He's actually leaning on the stone. There's a stone around here somewhere. Yeah, I like that one. These are all good. Santa's the wrong trousers. Yes, we got the... Oh my goodness, there's loads of Aardvark's animations. Stone wrapping Santa. Yep, Druid, it's no wonder they've stopped believing it's been wiped off the map. Ross, I know... Oh, there's more. Ross, I know, Lawrence. Let's show them proof by using the ancient art of dousing, just like Merlin did. Yeah, that's it. I'll convince everyone. Thank you. I will win. Paper beats rock. I'll give paper, scissors, rock. Okay. These are all good, actually. I can't find this stone. It's here on the map, Ross. I'll try my newly acquired dousing skills. Sorry. Lawrence says, I can't find this stone. It's here on the map, Ross. Ross, I'll try my newly acquired dousing skills. Brilliant. So I think by that one twice, I think. Right. Guy Taylor, I can handle losing my drawers, but can hurry up and hit me a willy warmer with these sticks, Ross. So yeah, thank you, Gary. Get a bit near the mark, yes. Oh, I got to knit something with the 2 sticks. All right, I'm with you. We're actually knitting sticks. Here we go. There we go. Ellie, good, very good. Now, I just flashed up on the screen. That's what Angie just said. Oh, look, there's Santa with his helper. I was like, thank you. I assume I'm the helper with my little hood on. Anyway, so that was good fun. Right, Arnie B, you're gonna play us something.
Okay.
It better be more Father Christmassy, I guess, isn't it? I'll just stay floating up in the top there like that. I don't know. What can I do?
You look kind of like you're looking down on the world.
Yeah, I look like I'm just sort of like bizarrely floating, disembodied.
You know, you need to put like a little cloud underneath it.
I'll try to do this. Hang on. That'll be proper weird now. That going to be proper weird because I can see the screen, but no one can see my eyes. I think. God, that lag's slow, isn't it? Right, hang on. There we go. Oh, that could be a proper weird channel, couldn't it? You don't get the fuzzy bits on my hair then as well. Right, what are we having in? I don't want to sing. I mean, we've been singing.
What Christmas song would you like?
Come on, let's have some suggestions. Anybody? You ready?
Christmas song.
Oh, I missed yours, mine, Pendrake. Sorry, Arnie, missed one. We didn't have any computer at all for like an hour of that show. I do apologise. Want to type in again? I'd love to see it, please. If you want to just pop it in there. Oh, we're on about the fiction of, what's her name? Yes, I know what you're on about there. We'll talk about that one week, actually. I was named Catherine something, isn't it? Sorry, anyway. Go on, put it in quick, Pendraig with a double D. Oh, and man Marshalls, quick, put him in then, come on. Joss looks all druid, come on. Right, can we have a suggestion for a Christmas song as well? Everyone wants to join in. I know, you know, we can fun pretend join in type thing. And I got another words as well, I just realised, haven't I?
Yeah,
we didn't actually rehearse this year, we haven't done a carol concert this year.
No, because the next service is going to be Boxing Day, actually.
I know, we're going to do a service now, yeah. Oh, yeah, Christmas special will be December the 26th from another different location. It might just be the side of the room. Or I might just float in the trees like this again. Uh-oh, it's all gone wrong. View page source, what's all this?
Well, you've right-clicked.
Oh, man, it's hopeless, this little thumb thing, isn't it?
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
I don't really know.
Do you know how to play that?
Only the first little bit.
You've never played it before, is it? Okay, I come to say goodnight. Leo's come to say goodnight.
Oh, look, it's...
Well, I can sing it. Then you can play something else, some of that. Join in at any point you want to.
What are you singing?
I was going to do, White Christmas has come up as a suggestion. I like that one. Right, ready? Have I got something to blow my nose? No. Turn the mic off a second. I'm going to sing in your key, you're going to play in my key.
I'll play it in your key.
Right. Okay, ready? Everyone join in. Bing Crosby time. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones we used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. So I used to play the next one, right? It's a bit difficult off the cuff, isn't it? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'll have to do the whistling in the next verse. Yeah, cool. Why don't you play one now, Anne? You want to play Christmas Carol?
Oh, okay, which one?
I still haven't seen the last minute introduce the Caption Contest. Is Ross on next Sunday? Yes, we'll be on next Sunday, Amelia. We shall be there. Boxing Day special. La 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 la. The halls with bells of holly. La 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 la. La 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 la. Right, excellent to say out to him. Well, it's getting very late. It's 10 o'clock. My goodness. Lucky there's no school or work tomorrow morning. So thank you very much, everybody. Been wonderful. There's been more information on the comments than what I came up with, but I tried my best. I hope you didn't mind that too much. And I hope you enjoyed it. And yes, we will have a Christmas special. What day then will be the one after? Because we need to do a sort of little year recap thing as well, don't we? I think. Come on, calendar. What day is going to be? 26. So 2nd of January. Yeah, that'll be the New Year's Day, won't it? We'll have a 2nd of January one. We keep going every Sunday. Boxing Day. Please email me, contact me. Any suggestions? What would be make Christmas show special? And we could do something then. Sovereign Cymru. Oh yeah, Lackland. That's the name. Lackland. Lackland's a fictitious, isn't it? I believe in Father Christmas. I don't know the song. How does the song go? Oh, we could do that one. The Mariah Carey one. Oh, no.
I believe in Father Christmas.
No.
Which one's that?
No, I was thinking of, he's checking the list, checking it twice, the one that came up earlier.
Oh, that one. Santa Claus coming to town.
So I think I'm going to give that to, what was Amelia's again? I like that one. And I think it's honour of Amelia, checking the map, checking it twice, finding my breeks would really be nice. I think that's my winner, okay? That's my Caption Contest winner. All right, okay. Okay, right. I think that's it from us. So thank you very much indeed. You can pay out the way out, Arnie. No, so I can't see those last two caption contests. All right, well, if you just put them in their thing, and I will put them up for next week. So thank you very much. And happy Christmas to everybody. Yeah, it'll be Boxing Day. Oh, I will I'll hopefully... I'm going to try and get a few more 5-minute ones up. Crosby, Stills and Nash. I'm going to do that. All right, we'll find some good songs. Right. Okay, I'm going to do the...
Can I do that?
I don't know. Can you reach the camera even? The camera's miles away now, isn't it? Oh, by the way, good thing, because the screen's miles away, I don't have to use my glasses on to read the screen. That's cool.
Right.
But I do anything else. Over to you, no? No.
So until next time, Heather.
Oh, you got a bit violent for Christmas, haven't you? We're going to wait so long, this lag, before we see what actually happens, haven't we? I do like a sing-song, though, through. Thank you, Brent. I like a bit of sing-song as well. No, wrong button.
Oh, well, you said it was it's usually number 3.
4.
It's normally number 3.
Oh, it is 3, yeah, but I put that as an image, haven't I? That is the image. Oh, you're sniffing as well now. Oh, good and better, man. We're all sniffing.
Oh, that was the right one then. Well, you idiots.
I'm not. Oh, did you hear what he called me? My own son. Hey! On, right. Just have to go and flog him a second. What was Angela's caption? Oh, yes, Angela's caption was, there's... You just saw it as you walked past, as this came on screen. Oh, look, there's Santa with his helper. It was the timing, It was the timing as well. I like yours. And let's sing it, in fact. I know we finished, and I've gone. I'm checking the map. He's checking it twice. Finding my breeks would really be nice. Lawrence is coming to town. Right, that's definitely it. Good night. Unplug.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, everybody.